So yeah, we live on Facebook now. So make sure y'all tell everybody tune in, share this post. We're with Michael Wyche, University of Miami standout, former Green Bay Packer, and so we're gonna be doing a U-turn show, sharing this post right now. So when y'all come in, y'all go ahead and share the post. You're on the U-turn show. So we got about 2 minutes before the radio show starts. So we'll be starting the show in about 2 minutes. Okay, so yeah, so we got to be live. I'm gonna change the mic to the radio show, so you won't be able to hear me right now, Mike. But
Aiden, Grifton, Southside, Greenville, North Carolina.
I try to be a better man, but folks just don't understand. Trying to do all I can to deal with this addiction in me. Lord, I wanna change. I can't stay the same. But the sins that in my vein is trying its best just to kill me.
good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are now tuned in to the U-Turn show here on WBISLP 106.9, Winterville, Aiden, Grifton, the south side of Greenville. Here tonight on the U-Turn show, I am your host, Richard A. Taylor. And we are here tonight with the U-Turn show. As you know, we highlight people who have made some substantial strides in their life, who've overcome obstacles. And I do have a very special guest. First of all, I do want to thank God for allowing us this opportunity to share these stories. Thank the awesome radio staff and the owner, founder, CEO, Mr. Keela Thickpen. And also, I want to thank all of you who take the time to join us each and every week. So if you're not on the radio airways in the listening area, you can also go to www.awesomeradio.org. And also you can download the app on Google Play, the Apple Store, and Alexa. And also during the broadcast, feel free to call in to our live studio line, 252-756-2008 to interact. Feel free to call in to ask questions. And we're going to get right into the show. Once again, I have a special guest. This young man right here is a CEO, ex professional football player, college football player, University of Miami. philanthropist, CEO of Wyche Gives Hope, is motivational speaker, travels all around the country and the nation, giving hope to others. So, how you doing, Mr. Wyche?
I'm blessed, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Good to have you on the show, man. It's always a pleasure to interact with you, man. I know we talk often, and this is no different, man. Tell us about what you're doing now as far as the Wyche Gives Hope and the foundation that you started. What are the types of things that you are doing right now in the community?
Just inspiring people, man. Inspiring the next generation after me, the next generation of athletes, the next generation of writers, the next generation of lawyers, doctors. Whatever you want to be in life. You know, we're inspiring the next generation. Basically, Wyche Gives Hope is my business, my motivational speaking business, where people hire me to come into schools, prisons, churches, uh, Fortune 500 companies, speak to NBA teams, NFL teams, Major League Baseball teams, uh, just great companies hire me to come and speak. Depending on the topic, I speak on life, decision making, overcoming, and also how I came up financially.
Okay, and you definitely have a lot to share about overcoming, and we're going to jump right into this. Flossie Lane says, "Good evening, my good brother Khalil Abdar Rashid said, good evening."
Good
And
evening. Good evening.
Lane said, "Doing the work. That's excellent." So we're going to get right into it. As far as your the beginning of life, where exactly are you from?
I'm from Chesapeake, Virginia. Uh, Small section in Chesapeake called South Norfolk. Born and raised out of the projects called Foundation Park. Then moved to another project called LBJ, and another project called Woman Place, and another project called Harvard Apartments. I'm a project baby.
Okay, and now if anybody Foundation Park, that's no longer there, right?
Nah, that's no longer there.
That was right off Campostella, like
Yep.
right where the bridge is right now. Okay, and
Yep.
LBJ, that's no longer there neither, right?
No longer there.
Yeah. Okay. I know Wilman Place is still there. So and I read a couple of interviews about you. And your life started out, even before you was born, started out like in a very I guess intense situation, even at the meeting of your parents. What happened? How did your parents meet? If you want to elaborate on that real quick.
Well, my father was running from the police one day. He hopped the gate off of Roland Avenue and landed him in Harvard Apartments. He cut through the back, and he seen an open door and shot up in the door, closed the door, and where he entered this woman's house who was cooking and who later on happened to be my mother.
Okay. So did they actually know each other
No,
before then? They didn't have no relation. He just found an open door.
he found the open door with a pistol in his hand and almost scared the lady half to death. Yeah.
Okay. So they went on to get together and have you. And did you have any other siblings?
Yeah, I got three older sisters. I'm the only boy. I'm the baby also. So yeah.
Okay. So now coming up, how was it? Like your father actually went to prison. Am I
Yeah.
right?
When I was 3 years old.
When you was 3 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. And 3 years old until when?
He's still in there right now. He's still in there right now. My father has been down 25 years. He's currently serving a 40-year prison sentence. Let's just say trouble take you farther than you want to go and keep you longer than you want to stay.
Okay. Definitely. That's a that's a profound saying. I've never heard it put like that. So, needless to say, so you grew up in a single parent home. Shamika Francis Bottom says, "Oh wow." Um, so, needless to say, you grew up in a single parent home. How was it growing up in that that type of environment without a father, with a single mother trying to take care of four children?
Well, my sisters, they were actually taken care of by my grandmother, and they're older than me. My sisters are in their 40s. They was actually the same age as my father. Um, they went to school with my father. My father was he lied to my mother about his age, so
Okay.
he happened to pull that off and everything. So he went to school with my sisters. He was actually in the same class as my sisters, which was
Wow.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
My brother Khalil said he can relate to that. Such a true statement about prison and growing up without a father. So he was actually so basically so I assume y'all struggled a lot.
yeah,
Uh
we struggled a lot. My mother, she did whatever she could. My mother was a hustler, man. My mother was she ran the bootleg house. She had the liquor. She had the card games. She had the fried chicken wings and fries. For everybody when they wanted to order something. The fried fish dinners. You know how I get. So she had all that. I watched my mother. That was the first entrepreneur I ever seen in my life. And we also had another lady around the corner that was a dinner cooker, and just selling. I seen that all my life, and and I also being that my father wasn't involved. Uh, well, he was involved, but he like I said, he had to go to prison. So the streets raised me. I found you know myself with the OGs out there, watching them sell drugs, and it became interesting to me.
huh.
I saw the way that they can flip their money real fast and repeat. And I started off selling cookies and cakes out there with sodas in my duffel bag, and
Okay.
then when I got introduced to marijuana, I started flipping my money from there, and yeah.
So you started out, selling, cakes and cookies. So what age were you when you ventured into the quote unquote drug game?
I had to been about, I want to say 13, 12.
Okay.
Well, I was a sixth grader, middle
All
school.
right.
So about 12, 13.
So from then on, Flossie Long said, "Come on here," but that was respecting that house. I guess you're talking about your mother's house.
Yeah.
So by the time you were 13, you were very heavily involved in the street. So at what point did you get involved with football?
Uh, I was in alternative school, and because I had got kicked out of middle school, so they sent me to an alternative school.
You got kicked out of
And
middle school.
yeah, twice.
Okay.
I got kicked out twice. I got kicked out my seventh grade year, came back my eighth grade year, played football. We won a championship. Got kicked out right after the football season. Again, went back and went to a alternative setting called CSEP, and
Okay.
that's when I met this mentor. His name was Alexander, and Alexander was he was like a big brother slash uncle slash father figure. And he told me, when he took us outside to play one day, we were playing football, we were playing basketball. He said, you got a certain athletic ability that's not normal, and you could definitely go far with this if you take it serious. And so I listened to him, and I followed what he had in order for me, and I got out, and I went to Oscar Smith High School.
Oscar C. Smith, in Chesapeake, Virginia. Shout out to Oscar C. Smith. Y'all actually won a state championship, right?
Yep, I'm a state champion. Hold on. Matter of
Champion.
fact,
Yeah, we about to grab the trophy. Okay.
got
Oh,
the ring.
okay. Got the ring, state champion. And that
Yeah.
was your senior year, your junior year. Which one was that?
That was my first year there,
Freshman year.
fresh out of yep. My sophomore year, cause my freshman year I was in CSUP.
Okay, so
So I played 3 years at Oscar Smith where I was a starter all 3 years.
you started right. What would you play linebacker?
I played the whole defensive line, pretty
Oh,
much.
okay.
Yeah.
So y'all actually won the only state championship, right?
We won the first state title in school history,
In school history. Okay.
15-0.
Okay. All right. So after now, but during that time, were you still like involved, in the streets, or did you lay that completely aside for the love of football?
Actually, yeah, I started heating up. Me and my nephew. One day, me and my nephew, we was we purchased some drugs, and we went back to the house to break it down. And he pops in this movie called Killer Season with this guy by the Cameron. And, he the one who inspired me to play sports. This before I got to Oscar Smith.
Who that, Cam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Cam was a All-American basketball player. People don't know that.
Yeah.
He went to junior college, and he just didn't have enough support, I believe. Because Cam would have been in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
But he was the reason that I wore number 11 on the football field.
See, I ain't know that. I learned something new today.
Yeah, so he inspired me, and I know it was wrong, but he gave me the blueprint. He gave a kid from the hood the blueprint on how to get out of there, and that was to play football, and to fund your own football campaign, you would have to sell drugs. So that's what I seen on the movie, and that's what I imitated. And I became that man out there.
Yeah, so that's another testimony to how media and music influence, especially rappers influence us to make those certain decisions. But then sometimes when you have limited options, then it's hard to judge a person for decisions that they make. So
yeah,
I definitely, that story goes so far. You know what I mean? That I can name so many people who great athletics, but not a good support system. So they end up going a different route, and then sometimes they go all in. But you, however, had some influential people in your life. So after high school, you actually went to JUCO, right?
JUCO.
Was that straight out of high school, or did you have to make a couple of
Yeah, that was straight out of high school.
Straight out of high school. Okay. Yeah. And actually I think that's when I met you. If you was at the you was in California, right?
East Los Angeles College.
East Los Angeles, and I wish I could share the screen to show that picture. I think you and your future baby, your child's mother, dropped me off at the bus station one time. I don't know if you remember that. You bought my book.
Yeah, I remember that.
And and whoever think we'll be talking again to this day. So you went to JUCO, you balled out in JUCO. Out there, because I looked at some tapes and some reviews of you out there, and you was doing your thing. So you spent 2 years out there, and what happened next?
Well, while I was out there, a lot of things happened out there. As I look back over my life wasn't nothing but a football game.
Okay.
And in the game of football, you have a first half and you have a second half. And it's split with first quarter, second quarter in the first half, and third and fourth quarter in the second half. And that first half of my life, coming from junior college, I started to see a lot of things called sudden change. And that happens in football, and sudden change, if people are not familiar with sudden change, for an example, the quarterback, throwing the ball down the field, he getting first down after first down, and then he throws an interception and the other team running back the other way. That's called sudden change for that team, because now something bad, a positive just went to a negative. So everything was going good. I was the number one player in the nation in junior college. I had every offer in the nation, and I just had lost my mother. Me and my mother was getting back on track and building a great relationship, because I was bitter towards my mother for a while, because what we didn't cover was my mother abandoned me, and my best friend mother ended up taking custody of me.
Okay.
So it's kind of like she adopted me. So I was bitter towards my mother, you know, and I learned when I was in junior college that my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 uterine cancer.
Okay.
So my mother ended up passing away. And
you was at JUCO?
Yeah. This was so I had the biggest college one of the biggest colleges in the nation coming to see me play. Alabama, USC, every offer in the nation was coming to see me play that weekend. And that week, my mother passed away. My teacher, who was like a mother figure to me, she hung herself and committed suicide. My best friend got shot in his head on his doorstep. So I had those events happen to me right before I had to play in one of the biggest games of my life. And I say all that to say this: sometimes your biggest opportunities come at your darkest moment. So you got to hustle through the pain. So either you're going to fold or you're going to break records, you know?
So how did you do in that game?
I set records. I set records, and I got a full scholarship, you know, because the reason that I didn't go Division I straight out of high school was because my grades were bad. I was too busy selling drugs in the streets. I needed money right then and there. You know, me and my mother had lost our apartment due to her getting hooked on her own supplies.
Yeah.
And she started using drugs, abusing drugs, selling everything. You know, my mother had an addiction. Yeah. I also had an addiction too, selling drugs.
Yeah.
The money was an addiction. You know, so it was just bad, man. You know, so yeah.
So we got about a minute left, man. I definitely want to dive into that. Flossie Lane said, "Come back from behind." Sudden death is what we used to call it. But yeah, man, we definitely going to dive in a little bit more to you know the time at you know the transition from JUCO to Miami. You know, some things that happened in Miami to you know to the NFL and then, you know, beyond. So we're gonna check back after the break, the station break. We are here, WBISLP, Awesome Radio, 106.9 on your FM dial. Remember, y'all can call in 252-756-2008. Once again, if y'all have any questions for our guest tonight, but we'll be right back with you after the break.
So what in America did we learn from the Supreme Court of the United States during the coronavirus pandemic? Stay tuned.
The Legal Alert. Here's attorney David Gibbs Jr.
The Supreme Court of the United States heard 7 different cases over the past year relating to the ongoing conflict between our First Amendment freedom of religion versus the emergency power of state and federal governments to place pandemic restrictions on Christians and churches. While the early rulings of the Supreme Court were not friendly to churches, the court slowly changed direction and began to side with the churches. Here are 2 key takeaways from these rulings. The court says the government can impose restrictions on churches during an emergency as long as churches are treated exactly the same as similar secular organizations. However, churches cannot be treated any worse than similar secular organizations during a time of emergency. That is a huge change in the law. The Christian Law Association, with a major lawsuit in federal court in North Carolina, won these rights, and they changed everything. In America, they cannot treat the church or Christians any worse for their faith than they do everyone else.
And that's today's Legal Alert.
The Bible is scientifically accurate. This is Ken Ham, and our popular life-size Noah's Ark is located in northern Kentucky. We can trust the Bible because it's the very word of God. And what the Bible says confirms that it is what it claims to be. Here's an example. The Bible is scientifically accurate. The Bible claims there was a worldwide flood. We find evidence that this really happened in the form of fossils and rock layers. The Bible says there's only one human race, and genetics confirm there's only one race of people with ethnic differences. The Bible teaches that plants and animals reproduce according to their kinds, and we observe them reproducing only within a kind. We never observe one kind turning into another kind. The Bible is what it claims to be, God's Word.
Plan your visit to our Ark Encounter when you go to AnswersRadio.com. 10 and under are free this year, so bring the whole family to visit. Go to our website at AnswersRadio.com.
Hi, this is Monica of Journeys Transportation, and I listen to Awesome Radio.
Lord, I hope this ain't your plan for me to die up in these streets. Oh Lord, can you help me?
Welcome back. We're right here at the U-Turn Radio Show, WBISLP 106.9 on your FM dial. I'm your host, Richard Taylor, here once again with a special guest, Michael Wyche, and we're going to start where we left off. You was at junior college, and I do want to mention this because you had so much going on, like at the death of your mother, at the death of your cousin, at the death of, a very close person who committed suicide. You had so much going. Were you able to deal with that at that time mentally, or did the excitement, did the obligation to perform kind of cause you to push those emotions to the backside and have to deal with them later?
Yeah, so that's what kind of happened. I never had no time to sit down and think about it because I was football. So I had to keep going. It's like being in war, with Army Rangers. Man get killed, you got to keep going.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. That's how it kind of was. You know what I'm saying. So I had that. It was either you want this or you don't. Either you can fold right now while all this adversity going on, or you can keep going and do what you know what I'm saying, what you was called to do, and that was sack quarterbacks. So
okay.
So I wanted it. I wanted it bad. I wanted to make history in my hood. I wanted to give the hood hope. So
Definitely.
I said, you know what? I got little kids looking up to me. I got people calling me from back home saying, yo, I'm gonna go to junior college like you and try to do it just like you. Like, man, I couldn't believe that I was becoming an inspiration. So I said, I can't let these people down. Even though my mama gone, my teacher committed suicide, my best friend just got killed. I got to keep going. So I went out there and I wreaked havoc and I earned every scholarship in the nation.
So you got the full ride to the U, to the man.
U.
Shout out to you. Show your hat. Let me see what it says.
Shout out to the U.
Oh, Utah. It said there is no me without you, baby. Okay.
Without you.
I ain't never liked the Hurricanes. I was a Charlie Ward, Florida State fan.
I'm sorry to hear that. I don't think nobody should be allowed to go in that county.
Okay.
The only good part about Tallahassee is when you leave.
That's what's up. So, but you was down there. Oh man. We done lost our guest real quick. Hopefully he logs back in. I don't know what happened. Just bear with us for a second, man. But this young man has a awesome story. Let me see what happened to him. I don't know what happened to the live stream there.
Yo, I don't know what just happened.
All right, log back in to the screen.
All right. It just went blank. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we got. I'm still live, so as soon as you log back in. They would need to connect there. Okay.
I think I gotta get off the phone.
All right. Okay. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but he's back.
I'm back.
We back. I guess the little Florida Miami rivalry.
Yeah.
They kind of cut us off. So you down there in Miami, you balling out though, right? You you making noise. One of the top defensive linemen in the country.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, and actually during the time, I guess you was in Miami. You also was fortunate enough to have a couple of mentors, right? That couple of real famous mentors who took you under their wing. Tell us about that real quick before we get into it.
Well, first of all, I have to say I accomplished something that I didn't even know I accomplished when I stepped on the field at the U for the first time. I became the first African American from Hampton Roads, Virginia, to play at the University of Miami.
Okay.
So that was crazy, and I was receiving text messages about that. Like, you're the first from the 757 to play there. I was like, wow, that's huge. People made a big deal out of it. On the road there, Miami, the greatest college to ever play at. Never forget it. But it was amazing. It was amazing to be there. I met so many mentors. One of my mentors was Ray Allen, one of the greatest shooters in NBA history. We spent a lot of time together. We worked out together. And of course, we had Clinton Portis, Ray Lewis, Andre Johnson. All those guys hung around. Warren Sapp.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a lot. There was a lot of people, man.
But then also, around the college area and around that time, Miami is known for, some I guess some ruckus, some wild players. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So of course there was how what was you still kind of like that one foot in, 1 foot out mentality?
With the
still
drug game.
Yeah, still holding on to the streets a little bit.
Yes, sir, I was.
Okay.
Like I said earlier in the show, it became an addiction. It was a serious addiction, like to keep making that money, But at that time, I had people working for me. I didn't have to touch it. I just had to focus on football. I had two of my good friends doing work for me.
Okay. And so we gonna touch on this briefly because I know it's a very deep subject. But then, so you had a child while you were in junior college or at the University of Miami?
Yeah, I had a child when I was in junior college.
All right.
Very beautiful little girl. Still beautiful to this day.
Yeah.
She favors my mother a lot. So that was a blessing.
Definitely, man. So you got and then at one point you actually move your daughter and your child down to Miami, right? With you.
Yes, I moved her and her mother down to Miami. Her mother had expressed to me that some certain things were going on at her home, and and she was ready to move out. She needed a comfortable place to stay. That's the story that I had got on my end of the phone. So, and I was down there trying to focus so I could, make a better life for both of them anyway. But, when you get a phone call like that, you automatically go into daddy mode and, everything else stops. And it's like, okay, that's the picture that was painted to me, so I said, you know what, pack your stuff and come down here.
Okay. And then, when she got there, I guess things didn't work out.
In all relationships, sometimes, we think we know a person, but our jobs and our occupation kind of softens the relationship, and we've seen that a lot during COVID this year. Everybody's at work, life's going good. Oh, I love you. You're my baby. Things like that. Everything's going well, and then boom, COVID happens, and y'all two are stuck at home together. So now y'all have to really get to know each other. When you thought you knew this person, but your job actually kept you from kind of getting to know this person. She found out some things about me. I found out some things about her. So we both had red flags that we didn't like. I'm not exempt from
10
this.
seconds. Yeah, we got about 10 seconds for the break. We're gonna try to get into that a little more, but we still got to move on. I know that's a deep subject, but we'll be right back after the break. WBIS 106.9.
Hollywood Live with Tanya Hart.
Jennifer Lopez made her months-old split from Alex Rodriguez Instagram official. Yep, she deleted all traces of their relationship from her social media platform. The 52-year-old actress and singer also unfollowed her former fiance amid her social media cleanse. Fans first noticed that photos featuring the former couple were missing, including that set of photos that were taken near the Capitol building in D.C. in January. Remember, Jennifer sang at Biden's inauguration, and Alex looked on so proudly. Well, their red carpet debut came shortly afterwards in May when they arrived together looking glamorous at the Met Gala in Manhattan. And then along came Ben. Oops. And for all these stories and a whole lot more, don't forget to follow us. Don't forget to tune in IG Live on Tuesdays. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Tanya Hollywood and at AURN online.
The Daily Drum Media Group presents the Street Summit Job Fair 2021, Saturday, August 28th, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. with Black business leaders, elected officials, and guest speaker, national recording artist and co-star of Empire and Drumline, Petey Pablo. There will be job applications and offers from reputable area businesses. For more information, contact Ben Johnson, 252-258-6827. That's the 2021 Street Summit and Job Fair, Saturday, August 28th from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Presented by the Daily Drum Media Group, 252-258-6827.
Hi, this is Sophronia Foster. This is Awesome Radio.
Welcome back. Once again, we're live on 106.9 Awesome Radio, WBISLP. Here with the U-Turn Show. I'm your host, Richard A. Taylor, with my special guest, CEO Michael Wyche. Michael Wyche Gives Hope. And before the break, we were talking about the relationship that you had in college. And of course, we can't harp because this lasts 20 minutes. But long story short, y'all actually got into a situation where there was domestic violence accusation, I would say, upon you when you actually were arrested and charged with some things that actually kind of hurt you as far as like your draft status was concerned. And where you were projected to maybe be a first round pick, you kind of slipped in that. Real briefly, what would you say as a learning experiences from that situation, and what would you tell other young athletes when dealing with, because we see these things happen all the time, where domestic situations take a turn for the worst, and it hurts a person. It damages their reputation, and also puts a hamper or damper on some opportunities, some financial opportunities.
Well, I'm gonna first start by saying this. That situation that happened between me and her, she made those false accusations to get back at me, to be petty, to be spiteful, because I wanted to end our relationship. because I felt like it was just best for us to just co-parent and stuff like that. So she did that to get back at me. It eventually got dropped, but moving on to what advice I would have for younger athletes and stuff coming up. Take your time when it comes to that. When you're playing football to try to make it to the NFL, or if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, if you're trying to build an empire, period, let's say that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to build an empire, my personal belief, I think you should focus on your building your empire first. Focus on building your empire first, because some people that is gonna come in your life, if they can't be the captain of the boat, if they can't be in control, they're gonna sink the whole ship.
Okay.
They're gonna sink the whole ship. And snakes don't hiss anymore. They call you baby. They laying right beside you. They call you homeboy. They call you their co-worker. Sometimes they call you their brother. They call you their son sometimes. They not exempt either.
Yeah.
So you gotta watch who you're around. You gotta watch who you give your energy to. And pay attention to the red flags early. The people that you got around you, because sometimes the people that's close to you don't want to see you succeed, and because it's not them. They not in the spotlight.
Yeah.
So that allows people to become jealous. That allows people to put in their hands, oh, you don't want to be around me no more? I'm gonna ruin your whole life.
Yeah.
So
Lane says set boundaries. We gotta set those boundaries.
yeah. I'm gonna ruin your whole life, and there's nothing you gonna do about it. They got a mentality, oh, you a superstar. They're gonna believe me anyway. Some females think. I'm not gonna say all females think like that, but it's just a selfish act. But it was a blessing in disguise, man. I promise you, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Okay. And regardless of the fact, though, you still made it to the NFL with a spot on the Green Bay Packers.
Yes, sir.
And once again, there was a decision that you made.
Yes, sir.
that you still don't regret to this day. Tell us about that decision and what led to that decision.
Okay, so I got up to Green Bay, and the first guy that I met there was General Manager Ted Thompson. You're not familiar with General Manager Ted Thompson. He's the one who drafted Aaron Rodgers. He's the one who scouted Aaron Rodgers and brought the great Aaron Rodgers in. He was there watching one of my community engagements and that I was doing with the community, and he was very, very impressed. And he invited me to come to lunch with him. So we hopped in his truck, and he took me to get some food, and he wanted to hear more about my story because he was impressed with what was happening at the community engagement. And I told him more about my story, and it's crazy how God worked, man. He ended up taking me to the bank, and he put some money in my pocket. He came out and put a big envelope of money in my pocket. A big envelope of money in my pocket. And after that, I went to training camp. Before I stepped foot on the field, I received a phone call. My nephew, who I was like a father figure to, he ended up getting shot and killed in the face because his friend decided he wanted to play with a gun. After they told him the gun was loaded, he ended up playing with it. The gun went off, struck my nephew in the face, blew his face off, closed casket.
I remember that actually. That was in South Norfolk, right?
Yep.
Right in South Norfolk, about 2017.
Yep.
Staking. Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, we had a balloon release out there at the park for him. I remember that. So how did that affect you right then and there?
I didn't. I lost the love for football, man. And to me, you could put me anywhere, man. You could throw me in a dumpster right now and strip me for everything that I have, and I'm gonna run it back up because I have a system that I run. I run a championship system within myself. I have a certain mindset that I run. So football wasn't a, oh my God, if I lose football, I'm gonna die. Football was a vehicle to get me to what I was really called to do. And that was to impact lives around the world. So I talked to Coach Dungy about it because I was in Tony Dungy life group when after I went through all that stuff at Miami.
Okay.
And Coach Tony Dungy introduced me to the Bible because I was a full blown atheist at the time.
Wow.
I didn't believe in God at all, especially after everything that was happening to me. So he introduced me to the Bible, and that's when I decided I wanted to change my life. I gave up. I shut down my whole drug operation that made me tons of money. I didn't want to do it anymore. I submitted to changing my life and walking a straight path. And I went up to Coach McCarthy, who is now currently the coach for the Dallas Cowboys. I told him, thank you for the opportunity. Whether you keep me today or not, this is going to be my last. This is going to be my last day playing football. And he was like, well, what's going on? Because you've been killing our offense all since you've been here. So we were actually going to sign you. I was like, I'm just ready to go home, start my motivational speaking business. I told him my whole plan. I want to start my motivational speaking business called Wyche Gives Hope. I want to go around the world impacting people's lives, save people from committing suicide. Save people, try to help them out with mental depression, and just mentor kids around the world, and motivate people. So he said, "Man, if you do that, you're probably gonna be the greatest Green Bay Packer to never play." And I said, "Thank you for saying that." And I believe that I'm the greatest Green Bay Packer to never play. Since then, I've inspired thousands of kids and athletes not to commit suicide. I've gotten letters saying that they was about to commit suicide, and they decided not to after hearing my story, my testimony. So that's how I knew God had me in the right place. And now, man, my company is booming. We done sold over 350,000 T-shirts called "Pain is Real, but so is Hope." And yeah.
Yeah,
I'm blessed, man. I'm
I see
blessed.
you all over the world, man. Like all over the world, all over the nation, going here, going there, inspiring people, man. So I'm definitely a witness to it. I watch, I seen videos you talking to high school students, and I know that you are a very inspirational person. And so, what do you see yourself, going further?
So like I said, I created the T-shirt, and we sold over 350,000 T-shirts. And now I'm just me and my best friend who played football with me in high school. We are now getting into we tapping into this real estate world, and we finna take over. We're acquiring multifamily units.
Okay.
And we're gonna rent them out to college students around the campuses, that's on scholarship because that the university pays for it.
That's guaranteed money. So
That's guaranteed money.
And that's down there in the Miami area, right?
We're gonna do it at ODU too.
Okay, ODU.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna do it over there too. So we gonna be around the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so basically you talk about depression, and committing suicide. What was you ever to that point, doing all the trials and tribulation that you have endured?
Yeah, man. I was depressed about a lot of things, man. I've had suicidal thoughts, but I've never got to the point where I was like, no, at that point where I was about to end it all. But I've had suicidal thoughts, but more depression of anything, and I snapped out of it, man. I
Yeah.
snapped out of it. I tell people all the time, you have to be mentally strong. Yeah, you might have lost your dad, you might have lost your mom, but the world still needs you here, for you to be able to tell this story so the next man don't fold, you know what I'm saying? So inspire the next person, with your story. I try to tell people that, and just keep going. Because one thing about me, you can't stop me because you knock me down, I'm gonna get back up. That's just who I am.
So
I ain't gonna stop till the clock hit 0.
you mentioned losing your father. Now, do you still have you ever had any communication, with him? Or do how was your relationship, now?
I just got off the phone with my man like right before I got on this show.
Okay, so y'all talk on a regular basis.
He told me to tell y'all what up too, by the way.
All right, what's going on? What's his name?
His name James.
James. What's going on, James? James. Yeah. So, and that's good. So I assume he has a lot of advice and has always been in your corner, throughout different trials and tribulations that you've been through. Like I seen you, you've been with, I seen you at camps with, I think Mike Vick, think Fitzgerald, Larry Fitzgerald. Like, I mean, so how is it, rubbing shoulders with all those great influential people, and what kind of knowledge and tidbits did you gain from them?
Mike Vick is a good friend of mine. We've done a few engagements together. We've actually spoke at this church called Liberty Baptist Church, where I really got a chance to meet him. Vic didn't know at the time, but Vic was a very he was an athlete that I looked up to growing up. And when he went to prison, I cried like I knew him, because when he sat up on that podium and said, for every kid that I let down and everything, I felt that.
Yeah.
I felt like he was really talking to me, you know what I'm saying? Vic was the guy to us, and
especially from the Rose area too. So
yeah, so his situation where he went to, where he had to take responsibilities for, everybody know about the dog fighting thing. He took full responsibility for it, and he paid his debt to society. I'm just happy to see the comeback and the person that he is today, because when you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
And I tell kids all the time, we make decisions out here, like decisions are very crucial, whether you want to be in the streets or anything. Just know you was born looking like your mama and daddy, but you'll die looking like your decisions if you make the wrong decision. You feel me? So decision making, your decision making got to be on point when you leave your house. And that's why, I encourage all the parents, make sure you're training your kid right, to be a respectful an asset to society.
Yeah. And do you have any mentors that you work with currently? I see you out with a lot of business partners, but as far as like, because knowledge is infinite, it's always good to be learning. So do you have any business partners who or any mentors who help you as far as like finances, real estate, goals and things like that?
I have a mentor. His name is Rick. He owns his own business. Shout out to Virginia Coast Contracting Services. That's my guy, man. We are very tight. He's in the real estate, but he's also he owns the contracting services as well. But me and him go on this boat like every Sunday, and he just feed me knowledge because he see that I'm hungry and I'm serious about it and I'm young. He says he sees. I'm a younger him, so he see where it's going. So he pours all his knowledge that he has into me, and every time I need some advice, I shoot him a text message. What does this mean in real estate? What does that mean? I pick his brain. So he's been a great asset to my life, and like I said, man, shout out to Virginia Coast Contracting Services, man. He's definitely a big part of my life now, and there's nothing he can do about it. I love him to death.
Virginia Coast Contracting Services.
Virginia Coast.
Oh, Virginia Coast. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Virginia Coast, yeah.
So now tell the people before we go, how can people get in touch with you for speaking engagements or, for your merchandise or, to keep up with you?
So you can go shop or you can go book me at www.michaelwyche.com. I have my own website, so go up there. My email is Coach Mike Wyche 11 at yahoo.com. You can email me. That's on my website. Email me. I'm very responsive. If you want to follow me on social media, let's connect on social media. I love to, talk and hear people's testimonials and stuff like that. Hit me up on social media on all platforms at CEO Michael Wyche.
Wyche, and that's WHYCE.
You was almost right. It's WYCHE.
Oh, yeah,
Everybody, but look, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad because everybody spell it just like you do. Yeah. Everybody.
I said, it's WYCHE, right?
WYCHE, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got that. So we got about 2 minutes live on the radio, man. Is there anything else that you want to leave with the people before we end the show tonight?
Hey, look, man. Whatever you're going through, whatever pain you're going through, just know, keep hustling. You're gonna come out on the other side of it. Don't never give up. This is a game. And just like my coach used to tell me, in the game of football, you don't never supposed to give up until the clock strikes 0. And in the game of life is the same way. Wow. Never give up. Keep fighting, and you're gonna come out on the other side, no matter how hard it is. I'm going through a situation right now as we speak with my sister. She just had a brain aneurysm. She's in the hospital right now. I gotta head over to the hospital. She just had a brain aneurysm. But guess what? The doctor told me the other day that she won't gonna make it. And today she's talking and everything. He just told me to prepare for my sister's funeral.
Wow.
Don't ever give up. Don't ever give up until the clock strikes 0. Hey, don't be good. Be great, my people. I love all of you.
Good, man. And also, man, be looking out for the book, man. No Luck, All Hustle, man. The Michael Wyche story, man.
Yes, sir. It's coming out.
I have a hand in helping my brother get that out, man. But I certainly thank you, man, for taking the time to
shout out to Taylor House Publishing, man.
Okay. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
great, man, and definitely, man. I look forward to seeing you real soon. Next time I come up the way, man, I'm gonna hit you up, man. But I certainly thank y'all for joining us as well. Our Facebook audience, our radio audience. We definitely love all of your support. Continue to support us every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. Looking forward to seeing you next week. Y'all have a good day. Peace and blessings.
Lord, I need you to smile on me. Lord, I'm bleeding. Tell me where you want me to go. I want to be right with you. And oh Lord, I'm tired of going through. Lord, I want is a touch from you to guide me through.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. So sometimes I keep it going, man. We still live on Facebook, man. So, man, I definitely want to thank you as well, man. But yeah, that's crazy, man, because I had 2 brain aneurysms, man, and mostly people, like matter of fact, it was when, because I didn't mention this on the radio show, but yeah, I was dating his child's mother. His child's mother's mother at the time. And I had a brain aneurysm when I was staying there, man. It was 2014. I had 2 of them.
Wow.
And I don't know if you can see the scar, but yeah, right there. I don't know if you can see the scar.
I see it. Yeah, that's crazy.
Brain surgery. They could I went to the hospital. And I thought it was just a headache. I had a headache for a whole weekend. He was like, man, I don't know how you walked in here, man. Like, you got 2 of them, one of them busted. So they had the emergency surgery, and they told me a lot of the stuff like, you might not make it through the surgery, you might wake up paralyzed, you might be blind, deaf, not able to speak, but by the grace of God, I'm still here, man. So definitely, man, your sister, once I don't have no doubt what God can do, man. So I'm looking forward to that powerful testimony. What's her name? I got a prayer group that we be in, man. So I'll definitely put her in the prayer group, man.
Everybody call her Red. Just call her Red.
Okay. Yeah. So you said she talking right now?
Yeah, she talking, but she really don't know what she really saying right now. Like, it was bad, man. She collapsed at work and everything. Like, it was bad.
Yeah. Lisa Mitchell said, awesome word, awesome show. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Felicia. But yeah, see, a lot of people don't know, like, because that's what people told me, like, people don't find out you have an aneurysm until you did. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, like, she passed out at work. So fortunately, like, they was able to get her to the hospital and get her. Did they have to perform surgery?
Man, right there, they didn't even take her to the surgery room. They had to, like, really, like, perform, like, emergency surgery, man. And the doctor came out and basically told me in my face, you know what I'm saying, like, man, you might as well prepare for your sister's funeral. That's basically the information that he gave to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, get ready to pay for your sister's funeral. So I was like, wow, like, you really saying this? Like, but the next day he was like, oh my God, this is a miracle. Because they thought she wasn't breathing on her own or nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said she talking right now,
she
but
had a stroke too. She had a stroke too.
Yeah, she had a stroke at the same time, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because like the brain, it was like a blood clot right there. And then it stopped the blood from flowing. So,
but what causes that, Rich?
I mean, stress a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Because like mine's was like it was a coil. So it's your brain got blood vessels in it. So then like if you get too stressed or whatever, like at the time I was drinking and smoking a lot, whatever too. So that might have played.
That's what the doctor said. The doctor said it came from that drinking and smoking.
Yeah. So your arteries get tight. Your arteries start to thin out, and so the blood might get caught in one, right? And so it'll start say like this your artery right here, the blood flow right this, but then it might start getting stuck right here. So instead of going straight, it'll start forming a little pouch. It's like right there.
It's almost like a balloon getting blowed up.
Yep. And see, that's what happened to me. Like I had a headache for them days, and when the thing popped, like I really felt it like a pop, and that's when the blood burst through the blood vessel, and it feel like my brain was, getting squeezed together like in a vice because the blood was filling my skull and putting the pressure on my brain. So like I said, like when what happened to her, that's probably what it was, the aneurysm bust. When it bust, she felt like, me, I was blessed because I had a headache. You know what I'm saying?
You went on to see what it was going on.
Yeah, but see, a lot of people don't have no headache, don't have no symptoms because it might be on the outside. Mine was inside my brain, like you know what I'm saying. Like the brain is like this. Mine was inside. See, like some people's might be on the outside, so they might not feel no pressure. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but she blessed, man, to be alive, bro. You know what I'm saying? So you said she not talking, she not coherent.
She's talking, she can hear, but it's like her brain is like a baby right now. It's trying to process everything. She remember people, but she calling people different names and stuff like that. She might get some names right some days, but she'll call people different names and stuff like that. So,
how long ago did it happen?
It was a couple days ago, man.
Wow. And how old is
she? 43.
Yeah. That's good, See, I had mine at 35, bro. So that was like way young. But yeah, man, that's a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? A lot to do with taking care of the body. Like over the years, I've been very open about my drug usage, and smoking. So I know that had a lot to do with, plus, you know, man, a lot of community work I was trying to do as
Yeah.
well, putting stress in there. You know, I was in a stressful situation, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we gonna definitely keep her in prayer, man, and hopefully she make a full recovery, bro.
Yeah.
That's I don't know if that's the one I met at the store, because I told you I met one of your sisters at the store when I was doing bones.
Yeah.
And I saw the last name, Mike. I said, White. They got the same last name as you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw the last name, White. Like, you know, because he was the only other black white I knew, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she was like, yeah, that's my little brother. I was like, where?
Yeah.
So I don't know, like I was at the when they had the Farm Fresh right there on Berkeley. You don't got it no more, with a Family Dollar at right there in
Yeah.
South. I mean,
Yeah. I don't know which one you met. It probably was Red or either Cynthia. How did she look? She was dark skinned, real dark skinned.
Man, this was like around the time 2007, 17 when I was doing the free phone. So I used to stand up there under the tent and give away the free phone. So
Oh.
I don't remember for real, but it might have been Cynthia though. It might have been Cynthia.
Yeah, it probably was.
Yeah, man. So what y'all about? Be y'all still tight? Your whole family still tight?
Yeah, we good. We good. Yeah, we good, man. You know, even relationships that wasn't good is starting to form now, because I think people are starting to see now that, you know, man, this life stuff is too short, man. And if you can heal a relationship, you need to go ahead and heal a relationship with somebody, because you don't want to regret if something happened to somebody. Like, nah, I ain't had to kind of talk to him because my pride was in the way and both of us was being stubborn and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So this is just real life talk, man. Like, man, if you can heal a relationship, man, go ahead and heal that relationship, man. You know, do what you got to do. You know.
Man, that's big, because I know you mentioned earlier, you know, that you know the bitterness you had towards your mom. We didn't get into that, but did you ever get a chance to, you know, kind of mend that relationship before passing?
Yeah. Me and my mom, we talked it out, and she told me a lot. You know, she was just, you know, she was battling drug addiction. So, you know, and she made a stupid decision. You know, she ended up leaving me. So I'm just happy that, you know, we was able to talk about that and get past that. You know, and we did before she died. You know.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, man. But did it leave an effect on me as a man when it came to trying to love other people? It did. Yeah, it did.
Yeah. So what you think, you don't love as hard, or you may be reluctant, you know, to give somebody your all for fear of them, you know, leaving you?
Well, after I got out of my last relationship, for the last 5 years, I've been practicing self-love.
Okay.
So, because I knew any relationship that I get in next, you know, I can't put my past on them. I can't put the trauma that I had. I'm not dragging none of that trash into my new situation. So I took the last 5 years to heal mentally, get healthy physically, socially, you know, all of these things in my life, the areas that I needed to correct in my life. Me maturing as a man, I had to really look myself in the mirror, you know, and I did. That's what I was focused on, you know. So now I can, you know, give somebody, you know, love the way, because I ain't had no love for nobody for real, you know. Yeah, I didn't. Nah.
It's almost like you were saying earlier about building your empire, not just your financial empire, but your self empire, man. And I think that's what a lot of people fail to do when they you know, get out of bad situations. They kind of jump in to other situations without really, you know, taking a step back and realizing, okay, how did this last situation affect me? How did it change me? What did I do wrong? what can I do better? What do I want? Or like you said, who am I? What do I want? So man, that's big, man, for you to, and how old are you again? Like what,
28.
28. So yeah, man. So you are yeah, you definitely on the right path. That's all I say, man.
Yeah.
But you always, like, even when I met you back then, you always seem kind of wise beyond your years anyway.
Yeah.
Probably because, like I said, the situation growing up. But yeah, man, I'm excited to kind of be a part of, whatever path you're traveling on, man. And I'm always here, bro, man. I ain't gonna think the station owner ready to go. So but we're gonna definitely do this again, man. We're gonna definitely do it again, kind of dive into some more stuff, man, because I know like in an hour it's hard to get it all in.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to
Yeah.
get all in. But I certainly thank you, man, for you doing this for me, man. And like I said, I look for it. I hit you up. Probably think I'm gonna be up there all next week. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you can be in the area, but so me and Michael grab some to eat, something like that.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
You already know.
Okay. Might hit that gym too, man. You gotta give me one of them workouts, them all push workouts you was talking about.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do a push day. Let's do it.
Yeah. All right, bro, man. Appreciate you, man. Thank y'all, Facebook Live, man, for joining us, man. Make sure y'all check us out next week, 10 p.m. We got a special guest, Angela Jeffries from New York, our first female guest. So y'all definitely want to check us out, man. But I once again thank everybody who comment, interact with the show, and keep looking out for us, man. Thank y'all. Thank God for having y'all. And we'll holler at you, bro.
All right, man.
Peace.
Peace.